So, my friend Jay proposed a separate building competition against three others to build a bunch of things really fast so we can get max armor, tools, and a bunch of other stuff. I obviously accept because free stuff, and I also like building. The one I decided to start off with was a ship dock. I decided to look at a bunch of different types of docks, however, I didn't really like them that much, so I'm just going to freefall it and see how it goes. Following what blocks Jay wants, and doing my best with what I got. My goal is to build 3 total builds for Jay today. Starting off, I already have what I need due to getting a bunch of materials last time when I was mining, and I'm just going to make some more lanterns and collect a few extra things that I'll need at home. This takes me a bit, but after that, I'm just off to building. Alright, so again, I kind of just freeballed it, and I kind of just messed around with what I wanted to do. I knew that the dock, they wanted to be made out of andesite and stone. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to also add some tuff here. And I'm also going to do spruce as the fences because I felt like you got to have some wood in there somewhere. So as I'm deciding which tuff version I want to do for the stone going up, I'm also going to use wood for the roof because I don't want to mine that much stone, and it makes more sense to have a wood roof than a stone roof. Alright, now my base and everything is all going to be made out of stone, which still works with what Jay was asking of me. So, then I just kind of made a pattern for how I wanted it to go up, and then I kind of just kept to this pattern the whole entire time. I did have a little difficulty figuring out how to incorporate the lanterns with my pattern that I made, but I think it looked pretty okay. I then go ahead and just repeat that. So I repeat my base, I repeat my ends, and I just kind of keep building it the same way. And I'm like, all right, how far do I want to go out? Because I know I'm going to need to turn to go towards the boat at some point. And then I also need to go down at some point to have tiny boats that people can actually use. So that's basically the plan. I don't know why so many people are focused on like, oh, you have to build it this way or it has to look a certain way. And it's like, well, as long as you understand what it's for, like this is obviously a dock where people bring their boats up to, and now you can go walk on it, right? So it's not very difficult to come up with your own pattern if you've seen the pattern of other docks that are typically built. Now, I did make this one a little wide. I probably could have made it by 2 instead of 3. And it might have looked a little better. I'm not sure if it would look better if it was made by 2 instead of 3. But I'm used to making a 3-way walkway in like most of my builds. So I didn't think too far on that part, I'm going to admit. But I still think it looked fine because it worked out with the boats when I was making this right here. Because I could just go forward in the middle and it would still work. I did have it go out a bit though, because I was a little short on it. And I mean, I could have done that too if it was by 2, but I'm just used to building by 3. And I'm just kind of figuring out, all right, how do I fit the boat? I didn't like that it was like a 3-way thing for the boat. That made it more difficult. So I ended up changing this again, which took a bit with my stone tools. But I ended up going through the middle because I thought that looked better. And then even though you're still going in by a 2 block, it's easier to go at that angle than it was the other angle. So then I just put up all my fences, and now I gotta make my roof, so I gotta make tuff and all that fun jazz. And honestly, this part wasn't too hard. It was pretty fun, you know, just normal build a dock really quickly and make it work, just your standard type of thing. So you just, once you make a pattern in building, you just follow that pattern. And it's I guess it's difficult to make the pattern in the first place, but like once you have that pattern, it's so easy and simple. Like I don't understand why people don't like that's all. Because like even when you're copying someone's build, their build has a pattern in it that you follow. So I will always promote building in patterns because that is what most of everything is, and that's how you can get really cool things, is how complicated is your pattern and how many times do you duplicate it. Now I did think of putting the lanterns on the inside, and I did not like that at all, so I kept everything on the outside. And I'm sorry it's so sped up so fast, but like There's this stuff like each one of these builds took like an hour, if not more. So it does building does take a lot of time as compared to like a PvP duel that's like 30 minutes long, right? So your attention span and time you're willing to put into it has to be longer. So, but I'm starting the pirate ship, and I just did the Minecraft pirate ship because that's what Jay asked for, which was a Minecraft pirate ship. So I'm building a Minecraft pirate ship, and I've built a Minecraft pirate ship like once before, and that was it. So and the last time I built it, I completely messed up the dimensions of it. So I'm like trying really hard to count. All right, 1 block, 2 block, 2 block, 3 block. Like I'm really focused on, all right, I gotta get this correct because last time I failed and I don't want to fail on this one for Jay. So I'm like really focused, looking, zooming in on the picture like, all right, that's 1 Minecraft block, 2 Minecraft block. And that's what I do whenever I use a reference too, is I just zoom in on the picture and count the Minecraft blocks. The issue with like the newer, how Minecraft builds its newer stuff is that it doesn't follow a pattern 100% of the time. So like the original Minecraft villager builds, right? They all follow a similar pattern within each other. The newer Minecraft builds, like the shipwrecks or the trees, I really don't like the trees. They do not follow a pattern as simple. Even with the bastions, all right? The bastions do have a pattern, but that pattern is not like a few blocks, all right? It's got like variation and other stuff in it to make it more complicated, which then makes it harder to replicate, all right? Especially since like the Minecraft shipwrecks are supposed to be dead, right? So like I'm looking at the only one that's like pretty much completely made. Now I gotta make my own masts and stuff and things like that, but that won't be too hard. I mean, you just add a little curve thing and that's all. But so I got my one side done and I'm trying to figure out, all right, how far does this go up? I have to now duplicate the side that I just did, which is in theory supposed to be easy, but it probably won't be because nothing is easy when you build Minecraft pre-built stuff. Like, I haven't really seen the trial ruins, but I'm gonna assume that stuff looks a little complicated. You know, I don't always mess with the newest updates, so I get behind sometimes, but I still play Minecraft on, like, the newer versions. So, I'm weird. But it's because I focus on building, right? So I'm like, it's cool that they added copper, but I don't mess with copper. Like, I don't think they added copper and then no one messed with it. But so back to my shipwreck that I'm building that I have to duplicate on the other side, which is scary. But after I duplicate on this other side, I still have to fill up the water that's going to be on my bottom. And so I'll probably just use stone and mine that out because I don't have sponges, right? I'm like still building everything with like stone tools. That's why I need these diamond tools that Jazz is going to give me because I can't do this, man. This hurts. Like, all right, if you're in full diamond with Depth Strider and you got your diamond tools, like, yeah, it's easy to build this. I don't have Aqua Infinity. I can't. Everything takes forever to mine. Like, this was so elongated just because I didn't have everything enchanted and, like, set up correctly. So, but it's, you know, it's supposed to be a simple build. Pretty easy, you know, with extra challenges. And, you know, it's not hard. Well, it is hard, but it's fun to do a challenge sometimes, you know? It might be annoying. It might be a little enraging. But it's fun to give yourself a challenge because if you don't, then you won't make it. Like, I would never make this, like, as a build that I would just make, you know? I'm like, why would I copy Minecraft pre-built stuff, you know? But I have another friend who wants a pre-built thing on their island area. So, you know what? They'll give me some diamond tools. Sure, I'll make you a pre-built and thing that's already been figured out. Pirate ship. That's fine. It's not easy, but that's fine, you know? Maybe that's the other thing with building. It's just, it's not always easy to figure out or to understand. So people just, like, give up on it. Because that they already know it's not going to look like the same thing, so they don't want to do it. And it's like that's the joy of building, is making it your own, or giving it a twist, or just changing it up a little bit. It's not going to be the exact same every time, and that's the fun part of it, you know? I don't think people see that as fun, like having to change things and like make it your own. But it is a thing. So there you go. But I'm getting on to the back side, which is where I messed up last time, is this side right here. So I'm like really trying not to mess it up, but I am having to change it because the dirt is in the way of the ship. So the ship's a little locked down by the dirt. We'll just call that the anchor in quotation marks, you know. But this is where I messed up last time, because like I'm off. I got off by a block, and I got off by a block on the top here also, but it wasn't off by like 2 or 3 blocks, which is what I did the last time I built this in like a different server. So I'm calling this a win because it's not as messed up, and it actually does look like the ship, like the edge of the ship. So I'm calling it a win. But because I'm off a block, I'm having issues with fitting in that door, and I'm gonna have issues with the flooring of it when I get it sealed up. But I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Everything's fine. It's all good. But so I'm coming in here now, and I gotta match it with the front and the back at the same time, and I also have to cover up everything so it doesn't look bad. And I'm like, all right, how do I cover everything up? This is just me trying to find ways to cover things up and not make it look bad. And like, I actually know what I'm doing. Which, I mean, that's the other half of building, is pretending that you know what you do, so that people think you're cool. Because half the time I'm just like, all right, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just gonna add this line of blocks here and see if that looks okay. It looks okay. All right, now we're gonna do it on the other side, and now we connect them. Yay. That's what I do half the time when I'm not sure. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna build, see what happens. Does it look okay? I'm calling it good. That's what happens most of the time. Over here, I'm just trying to finish up the ship, and it's getting kind of dark because, of course, it is. But I'm just building up the bottom part of the ship, and this is gonna be a pain to get rid of all the water. It's a pain building with all of the water, but so I just gotta cover up the holes that were left there from me building. Because another thing is, a lot of people like to have things hollow, and I like to have things hollow because I get to save glass. But you then have the issue of light and securing things. So right now I'm just using my tuff to drain everything, because I don't have what's it called, sponges. So just like I don't really have diamond. So I gotta do everything the hard way. Now I'm connecting it to the top where you can go in, and now I'm doing the masts. That I've finished that. And the masts, that took a little bit. Well, it wasn't that difficult, but I did have to figure it out. So what I ended up doing is I just ended up having it go around the top part, and I had it go down, and then I had it come back, and that was it. I did not do much of a wave for the mast on that side. Now for the big mast, I did do a wave where it came out another block, but as you can see, my masts are a little close to each other, and I have no solution for that. So I kind of just left it that way. But it looks fine. Like, it doesn't look bad, in my opinion, when I ended it. But I did have to, I finished up some things here, but I kind of ran out of wool, so I did have to go back and get wool later. I always skip out the parts where I'm collecting more materials, because I don't think that's very entertaining. But that is a part of building. You know, you will run out of materials, so you do have to stop building to go collect more materials. And I can see how that's tedious and gets annoying, because you're like, I'm so close. I have collected so many stacks of things, but now I have to go collect more. That is annoying. And I do agree, that is annoying. But it is also a part of building. So, enjoy that. I don't mind that part of building. I do get annoyed by it myself, because I'm like, now I gotta go get concrete, or now I gotta go get stone and wood. But it's just part of the game, you know? Just like how you have to go collect diamond or iron to make armor and things like that. So you run out of materials eventually, and you gotta go get more. But a lot of people do get annoyed at that, and I get annoyed at it too. I decided to go get a bunch of beds too while I got wool, so that it's like the sleeping quarters of the whole entire trip, and I used those beds because I needed to sleep at some point. So right now I'm just finishing the mask. So I went 1, and then I went out 2, and then I went out 3, and then back 2 and 1. So again, a pattern, right? So you have your 1 block, then you go out 1 and go down 2, go out 1 and go down 3, and then you replicate it on the bottom where you go in 1, go down 2, and go in 1 and go down, and just have 1. So not too complicated. As I'm going to get materials for my next build, I'm also getting some extra wool. I'm going to really quickly change that boat mast to the trans flag instead of just blue, because I realized that the theme of the island is the trans stuff. So I've also decided what my next build will be for Jay though. This one is going to be a Japanese themed build, and I'll be using mangrove and cherry blossom wood along with white concrete to build it. While I'm at it, I'm also adding a pumpkin farm to my base because I am bored waiting for my trees to grow. I also want to mention how annoying it is to mine wood from the new trees. Cherry blossom is okay, but you still gotta block up a few times to completely get everything chopped down. I don't even want to rant on how annoying mangrove wood is. With all the leaves, how nothing is connected, this stuff at least took an hour to get everything, and my inventory ended up completely full. Anyway, after I get everything, I change the mast and head on to start my Japanese house and gate theme. I got the design of the house from Cortesino and the Tori gate from Sakai. Both have links in the description to where I got them from. Alright, so before you can do anything with building, you also have to clear out your area. Now, the last one was easy because it was in water, but this one is with trees. So I have to clear out this whole entire tree area, and I skipped most of that, but you know, you got your big oak trees, you got your small oak trees, and I gotta clear out all of this to have my area, because I'm also gonna have to add trees later to have a cherry blossom area, because that's the whole point of like having a Japanese themed, is that there's a special cherry blossom area with cherry blossom trees and things. That's also why I'm building my Burger King, because that's what they wanted, is a cherry blossom area. So I don't know who built the Burger King, but it's cool, I guess. But that is part of building, is chopping down trees to make space to build another thing. I wouldn't call that doing terrain, you know? Doing terrain is like changing everything, but I did have to change some things. Now, on this part, I did not realize how big the design I was basing it off of was, and I ran out of stone, and I had to chop down more trees because I didn't realize how big I needed this build to be. And I did end up making it a little shorter just because I was starting to run out of wood and I needed to build the Tori gate. And I honestly didn't like how it looked because I was off by 2 blocks. No, I was off by 1 block on each side, and it really ticked me off. But I had already built everything by then, so I didn't want to change it because then I'd have to change my whole entire pattern that I did on the first floor, and I didn't want to do that. And when you build that first pattern, it's really important because it takes forever to like get it. Like, you get the pattern, you find the pattern, you figure it out, and then you duplicate it over and over. So I had it where it went up, and you have the inside of 3 with mangrove wood. Your first layer would be cherry wood, and then you do white concrete on each side, and on that inside part would be where the glass would be. All right, and that'll end up being added later. And on the bottom, with the stone, you know, that's just your base to show you where everything should be at. It kind of just goes around everything, you know. So, pretty typical pattern that I copied off of them, but it I messed up the pattern. So, that was that. Building the roof was very difficult because of that. Because I picked a roof with a little curve thing because I'm like, I'm gonna give myself a challenge because I've built Japanese style things before, so I want to do something different. And that difference killed me. I was going crazy after a while. Because this took me like 5-6 hours. All right, this took forever. Now I was sick while building it, so I was a little slower than normal, and you might see that I'm and a few parts I'm sped up really fast, and that's just because it took me so long. Like, this was the build that took the longest, and I almost quit after this build. It took me so long. But I didn't, right? Jazz went easy on me for the last build because of that, which I appreciate very much, you know. And I still got my things. I got diamond tools because of it, so it was really cool. So, yeah. But, so I'm just doing the base, and I decided that I'm just gonna cover up the end of it with, white concrete, because, I didn't want to run out of cherry blossom wood, even though it is more difficult to get white concrete than cherry blossom wood. I was not thinking that far ahead, because I did run out of white concrete more than once, to which I had to go get it more than once. But, that's just, again, part of building. You have to go get materials when you run out of it, and of course, I then decide, you know what? I'm just gonna use the cherry blossom wood anyway. So, I'm my own worst enemy in some cases, honestly. But, so, it looked really cool though. Like, when I placed everything down and put it together, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is looking really cool. So, I was really happy with it. And then I got to the second level, I'm like, this isn't as cool. And then I got to the third level, and I'm like, what am I doing anymore? So, I really started questioning on the third level. And that's why I ended, like, I didn't do the fourth level, because I'm like, this is not going as well as I thought. And I was just really unhappy with this build and how it looked out in the end. But honestly, looking back now, I'm like, it's okay. It's not bad. It's not that bad, actually. You know, it actually looks really cute when you add all the trees and everything else with it. But as I was building it, I was very grumpy, to say the least. And I'm just going to put that on being sick and my brain being a little off because I was sick. But, so, I did all the edges with the spruce. There's a lot of spruce in this one because I had all of the details in spruce because I didn't want to waste all of the other wood on it because spruce is easier to chop than mangrove and cherry blossom. You know, I do not like the newer trees. They take forever to chop down, you know. I might build something with jungle wood just to not have to deal with these trees again. But like I started the thing off with building with Ashita and mangrove, so I can't go back. I'm too far gone. But I thought the cherry blossom thing, not cherry blossom, the Japanese style house would be really easy because I built a mountain full of them on like a separate server just for fun. And so I'm like, oh, I'll just look off of one of my old builds. And I don't have anything saved from it. And I never recorded anything, right? Like I got like one recording of me walking around, but it doesn't show like the whole entire area. It just shows me building that one area, that one building. And I'm like, no. So like, and I asked the person who was supposed to save it, the server owner, he never did. So I have no way to look at that stuff ever again. And that's what sucks with building, is sometimes you will never get to see that build ever again. You built it, you had fun building it, you have the memory of it, but you have no way to show or prove that you built that. if the world isn't saved, if you didn't take pictures, or if you didn't record any of it, okay? You have no way to show that you made this awesome build. And I have a tendency to do that a lot. I've done that more than once on more than one server. And I just don't think of it because I'm too focused on making the jokes and having fun with people in the moment to be like, oh, I should have pressed record, or oh, I should have taken pictures of that build. I just don't think of that stuff, and I get to lose the joy that is things. I am on the roof now, and the roof was such a pain. Like doing this side was difficult, right? And then I did the swirl thing, and that was even more difficult. Like the roofs on this thing was a little too much for me. I'm like, this is I'm not getting the pattern that the person made, and so I just ended up making my own pattern on this part. And that's when I noticed that I'm 2 blocks in, not 1 block. So I really messed up my building on that part, my base, because I'm like, oh, I'll make it in a pattern of 6, and then I can do this and this, and it's like, well, since you made it in a pattern of 6, now you have a double instead of 1. You should have done 7 instead, and I didn't think that far. And because I didn't think that far, Everything else was much, much, much more difficult. And it was not that easy or fun to make because of it. But I made it, and I'm making the they have it go up to the second level here, so I'm starting that second level area just so I know where it's at, and I'm trying to figure out, all right, how do I want it to be spaced out? And this is what I'm thinking initially. I do change it eventually though, because I'm like, I don't like it, you know. I'm like, this isn't working out. I also noticed I was off a block, so I had to change everything again. But because it went inside one block, and I did that more than once actually, so that was super annoying. But it is what it is. So, there's that. But oh my gosh, I can't say how many times I had difficulties with making this roof. Like, it took forever. Yeah, this build is just I just hate the roof. I don't hate the roof. The roof was too much, I think. The roof wasn't too much. The roof was a challenge. The roof was a challenge. And again, I make the roof off by one block, not the roof, the second tier off by one block. I did that a lot. But like, this stuff, like, so much faster than it actually went. Oh my gosh. Hours, minutes, days. It wasn't actually days. It took me one day to do this, but it was all day that I was building in Minecraft basically. So it took a long time, but it looked really cool, and that's why I wanted to do it, is because it looked cool and it would be a challenge. And it was definitely a challenge for me, because don't do challenges when you're sick, okay? Because it's like 10 times harder when you do that. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't do challenges when you're sick, because you get more frustrated, and it doesn't look exactly how you wanted it to be. But I did end up enjoying it at the end. So I mean, it's all based on perspective, you know, because I know other people wouldn't even think to look up this stuff or build it, or wouldn't even try, right? They'd go be like, all right, I have to go get something that's like pre-done and pre-made. And it's like, you don't have to do that, but a lot of people do. And I don't like doing that, and I don't see the value in doing that, because you don't learn a skill doing that. You're just copying. It's like tracing in art, right? If you're doing it for a specific reason to get better, and there's a specific way in tracing that you can do it to get better, but if you don't, you're not going to get better, and you're just doing it to copy other people's work. So there's certain aspects and ways to do things. Because even though I look at other people's builds and build stuff, right? 2 of the builds I've done, I've done it myself, you know? The dock, I just did something myself, right? And that was it. And by the way, that curve is so majestic and amazing. I love the curve on that roof. But anyway, so when you're, and then the next build I make is also going to be built by myself. So you can learn skills by doing this stuff, and then you go do it yourself. So it's not, nothing is the end of the world. Like, there's nothing to get really mad about. You can be annoyed, but like, it's nothing to like, oh, I'm not going to play on the server anymore, or, oh, none of your stuff is worth it anymore. Like, that's not how it should work, right? Because you know what? Those people did build really cool things that used that mod. So it's like, I admit it. Like, that looks really cool, you know? But that doesn't mean it's not black and white, you know? They're not at the same level, but they're not at the same level for different reasons, right? So I don't know. It's all based on your own opinion and how you view things. And everyone wants to make it, oh, that's either wrong or that's right. And it's like, that's not how it works, you know? It's so subjective. Building and art is so subjective. So like, you can't put it in one category and like say it's this one thing or it's that one thing, because it's really not. So anyway, I'm so close to being done with the second level so that I can move on to the third. And then I stop at the third. I'm like, I've reached my max at the third. All right. The third is my max of my building knowledge and power, because I am getting tired, honestly. So, but this was a good challenge for me, you know. But I'm probably not going to build Japanese builds for a while just because of this, you know. I'll probably build other things. So, but it was worth it just to remember what I've built before and challenge myself in what I can build now. Because that's the right thing. You can get to more and more complicated builds the more you challenge yourself. And then when you do that, you can start making your own complicated builds that take 5 hours. So it just takes time and stuff. And dude, I love it on the speed up part where you're just going across in like one area and it just looks like everything's teleported there like magically. It's like I've just drawn a line in Minecraft when that took a lot longer than it actually did because you're slowly crouching across and placing things. But it kind of looks cool to me. Um, but I don't like speeding things up too much because then you can't copy. But you really shouldn't be copying this one because I wasn't happy with it. But because the whole point is like I want other people to make their own patterns, or I want them to go find patterns that they want to use from other people, and then you credit those people. That's a huge thing in building is people not crediting other builds. And that's why I'm specifically like, all right, I got it from this person and from this specific post they made. You know, that's why I do it that way. Because like, I didn't make it. I didn't design it, right? I made this in Minecraft, and like, here guys, I made this in Minecraft, but like, I'm not the one who designed this specific build. And you know, the people who designed that should get the credit they deserve. And a lot of people forget to do that. It's like crediting music artists, right? When you use background music, right? You got to credit the person who did the music. So that's why YouTube has it automated to do that. And it's like you can't do that with like things that are done in the game, right? And that's also a line that you got to be careful with though, because then what is original, what is not at that point? And I don't have a good answer for that, you know? Everything's a copy of something else. So like, if you know you're copying something blatantly, just say it. You know, there's nothing wrong with just saying, this is what I used. And it doesn't make you worse at your craft if you do that. But you do have to admit it, I will say. So, I don't know. It's just all opinion on things and how you view them. But, so, I built this, and then I'm building my top so I can be done with building. It does look like I just kind of notched it down, and it wasn't supposed to be that way, in my opinion. I don't know, you might not notice it, though. But this sure did take a while, because I have to keep going back and getting resources. That happened more than once, and it was very annoying, and it took a lot longer to build because I did not accurately got my mangrove resources. Everything else I had to get more of. So don't do math when you're sick too. Don't guesstimate how much you'll need when you're sick, because that's also gonna turn you off. You gotta be good at math, you know? Be good at math so your life is easier. If you're good at math and building, oh, it's so much easier to build. If you're not good at math and building, I give you luck. You know, if I had shulkers, I'd probably just get like 8 or 9 stacks of everything, and then I'd have no issues. But I don't have shulkers, and I didn't. I had stone. I was stone. I had just gotten like diamond from Jay, and so it took a while. Everything takes a while. I do appreciate having diamond tools though. It makes life so much easier and so much quicker, and I can build everything so much faster. So it was definitely worth it to do this for Jazz. So Jay, I don't know why I say Jazz. Do it for Jay so that I can make it. Over here, I'm just adding little flowers to make it a little more cuter, and I'm turning all of my stone stairs around because I thought it looked cuter that way. So now I have to do it for everything. And you can see the birch that I put down beforehand, but I have birch around the whole entire thing. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to keep it that way. I don't think people notice that much. So, and then I build my staircase because you got to build the inside of things too. And that takes a while. A lot of people forget to talk about how you built the inside of something, right? Everyone looks on the outside and they're like, oh, that's really cool. But you also have to go inside the building, so that's a thing I think people forget sometimes, is the inside decoration. And I'm not the best at inside decoration, I'm gonna be honest, but I think I'm okay with it, you know? As long as you don't see all the little mess-ups and things that happened along the way, I consider it good. Um, it was kind of hard to hide the mess-ups on this one, though, so I'm gonna be honest. So, it took a while, and I had to go back a lot to get more spruce wood, and re-mine spruce wood, and mine more spruce wood. It took a while, but, you know, it's fun to build things. And it's fun to have a challenge that takes forever. But I got to do a fun little thing that I saw online where you like do the 4 stairs, you put glass inside it, and then you do another 4 stairs on the other side. I didn't really like the effect, but I kept it because I had already built it by then, and I didn't want to undo it because I wanted to move on. Honestly, that's the thing. A lot of people, when they build, they'll build something, not like it, and then not finish it. I don't like doing that. I have to finish something, all right? I either tear it all down and it doesn't exist anymore, or I finish building it. Because people will be like, oh, that's ugly. Why did you finish that? And it's like, well, you gotta learn. You gotta make mistakes. Part of building, part of learning is, you know what? You make something that looks ugly. Good to know for next time. So, a lot of people don't, I don't think people think about that. I don't think they think to fail to win. You know, everyone's so focused on, oh, I have to be perfect. Oh, let's have this mod so I know how to place everything perfectly so it'll look exactly like the thing I've done. It's like, you gotta learn, you know? You gotta learn how to make it yourself, to do things your own way. If you don't do that, you're not gonna learn anything, you know? You're just gonna learn how to copy things really well. And that's not the point. The point is to learn how to make it yourself. Now you start that by copying other people's works so that you can learn the skills and the techniques to then do it yourself. And I don't think a lot of people, when they use copying, think of that. I don't think they use it to learn the skills or techniques. I think they use it to copy the thing. Anyway, so I finished building the main house. And now I gotta build all the extra things. So I'm like, ooh, I want a pond here. So I fill everything up and then break it down below and make my little pond. And, of course, I gotta make other things to go with it, like a little tiny dock to go with it, because that's cute. Before I do that, though, I'm building my tori gate and figuring out how long it needs to be and how far away. And I'm off a block again. But it's fine. It's fine. I purposely made it off a block. That's what I'm gonna tell myself. At least. But so the tori gate was difficult because of all of the stairs and the all the different positions the stairs needed to be in. So that was difficult. And then I had to copy it on the other side, and then I had to do it again on the other thing going up. So you copied it like 4 times. So I learned how to build the gate, and I could probably do it by myself now without looking at the picture, but it took quite a while because of that. It did. Yeah, it took an hour. It took an hour to build this. It was like its own build within itself. It took a whole entire hour. So it took quite a while, and I did have to get more cherry wood to build, but it's fine. I think it looked good in the end. But it took forever to add all of these in-between things, and then you had to build the stuff on top of the in-between. It was not infuriating, but it was definitely annoying, if not frustrating. So it took quite a while, and as I was building it, I realized that it needed to be 2-way thick so that the other side matches it, and it took time, effort, and brain power to make. To be honest, and I had to make a lot of extra things with the wood and then place down the wood in the correct position to put it on the in-between part, and then I had to build the top part, and the top part took a while, but it's fine. It's fine. It just took forever. That's all. I do when I look at the curves on the roofs, I'm like, you know what, that is really cool. Like whenever I look at the build, I'm like, you know what, it's kind of cool, you know. If you don't look at the very top part of it, it's kind of cool. If you just look at the roof, the small roof part of it, you know? So, and then I really liked how the tori gate looked in the end. Like, for all my annoyance at all this stuff, you know? I did think it looked cool when it was all put together. So I made the tori gate, added decoration, you know, had to space things out, make pathways, all of that fun jazz, because you gotta finish it up. You gotta add your little detail, you know? Make your little dock for your little fishing area, because that's needed. You know, add the stone part of it, because, you know, it can't just be made completely out of wood. That doesn't look that good. But, you know, add your trees around the area to make it look cool. Get rid of the trees that are in your way. Make that cool pathway to everything that you can just kind of walk towards and you don't have to jump. You know, I like making pathways that you don't have to jump at all. Then you like add your flowers. You add all of the petals. Oh my gosh, there's so many petals. And there still wasn't enough petals. It took a while. Make it around the dock too, and you put it all together, and you got a nice looking area that works. And it was worth it in the end, but the process was difficult. That's what I'll say. It was worth it in the end, but the process was very difficult and tiring for me. But sometimes that's building, you know? Sometimes you don't win, and that's okay, because you can win later. I'm not the most happy with the Japanese area, but the show must go on. I decided to head back and come up with the idea to make a greenhouse as my last project. Jay really didn't have much of my idea for the last one, so I eyeballed a build in creative, and I'm just gonna do that. It's also going to be used for bees and bee wax if anyone wants to get that for copper builds. I'm just collecting a bunch of sand to make glass, white dye, and some oak and spruce wood. It really didn't take that long to get everything for this build. I did have to scrounge up some more glass while I was building though, and that took a while. Alright, so my little greenhouse. I just kind of did a circle pattern and then had it go up slowly but surely with glass in creative mode. And I'm like, you know what? Is this a good enough build, Jess? And they're like, oh, that is great. So I'm building that in survival now. And I had the picture up there just in case I like needed to double check on stuff. And I did use it a few times, but it was pretty simple. You can just build the glass up and then you put the spruce around it, and then you build it up 1 or 2 blocks, and then put the spruce around it, and then build it up and put the spruce around it, going inside one each time. I did keep running out of glass, so I had to change the very top part of it to have spruce go around it first, and then have the glass go inside it, and that took a while, but I think it looked pretty cool in the end. So I think it was an okay change. And then I wanted a pillar to go through it because I felt like it. And it had a little flag at the top so that you could see it. And originally it was going to be a yellow flag, but I'm like, this is the cherry blossom area. I'm going to make it pink. Also because I might have left my yellow wool at my base and I didn't want to travel back there. So I made it out of pink because that was the flowers around me were pink flowers. That might have influenced me a little bit on what I was building. But all it is a circle pattern. So you have like 5, you go in 2, you have 1 to switch your corners, and then you just repeat that the whole entire time. And it's really not that hard. It's really not. And then you go inside 1 each time. And that's it. You just go inside 1 each time, and then at the end, you just cover it all up. So it's a very simple design and how I did it. The only complicated part is placing all of the stairs and not planks. What are they called? Slabs. I know words. And you place all the slabs. That's the hardest part probably because you're doing it on the inside and the outside, just to give it a little bit more of a flair, if you could say. So, but that's about it. I think that's part of the issue when you're the one who designs your build, you don't have much to say on it because you're like, I just made a pattern in my head, and and it's in Minecraft now, or it's a Lego now, or it's your own thing. So I do think when you're the one that builds the design, it's harder to talk about because you have a biased opinion on it because you're the one who made it, you know? So, there you go. It was annoying though to having to go back and forth getting sand and white stuff, white dye. There we go. Because that took quite a lot of my time, and the hour it took to build is just I probably spent like 20 minutes just looking for sand and killing skeletons to get what I needed. So I might have taken a few things from people, but they weren't using it. I'm sure it was fine that I took it. You know, I don't think anybody's gonna be too upset, and I'll give them it back someday. I'm not sure when, but I will. I promise you that. I maybe I'll spend a day just giving back everything that I took from people. I should just keep a little list. Like, all right, I took 2 stacks of stand from this person. I took 18 wool from this person. Just write down everything I've yoinked from people's chests that are at spawn that are building blocks. Because I don't think people would be too upset about them not having their building blocks. Well, actually, they might be upset about not having their building blocks, but they didn't build it, and they weren't on the server building, so I yoinked it. I'm sorry if I took your sand that you needed for your build, and that was very crucial to your build. I will pay you back someday. I don't know who it was that I took it from, so that's gonna be a fun mystery. But yeah. So in my design on my thing that I made, right, I had a little water thing on the inside because bees can't touch water or they die. So I did that so they can't touch it. And then I made my little leaf area thing so where you can go and get the wheats. And I didn't have any iron on me, but basically the thought is you use that to make bone meal, to then make flowers, to feed the bees, to make them breed. That's the idea of it, right? That's the efficiency of it that we're gonna say. Efficiency in quotes, guys. So that you can always have bone meal and stuff for the flowers to make the bees breed. And I only had 2 bees from the stuff I collected here, so I bred them once, and I was done at that point in that day. So maybe I'll come back here and breed them a few more times, just so like I'll probably build something at spawn again. You know, I'll just every day I'll keep an eye on the bees and breed the bees, and that can be like a little subsection. How many bees were breeded today at spawn? But I mean that's the gist of it. I did have to smelt some iron though to make things, and I did end up making a compactor actually to get everything, and so there you go. But I was pretty happy with it. It was nice and simple for my last one, and it was something I designed myself, so I call that a win. There you go. Yeah, I don't know if I'll make anything out of copper with these bees, you know? Maybe I will, just because I made this bee area thing, you know, just to be like, all right, Jay, I people actually used it, people being me. You know, because the whole point is like having areas that people can look at and like use if they want. So yeah, I don't have much more to say on this stuff. It was a pretty fun challenge doing all these things. I probably wouldn't do it again. You know, I'd be like, all right, you get 1, maybe 2 builds, but not 3, because three's a lot to build for someone else in a very short period of time, because you're not giving yourself a break to build your own stuff, so it's not as fun to make, you know, it's not as fun when you don't make your own stuff. And I think that's why Jay gave me that last one for me to choose, which I really appreciate. But anyway, there you go, that's my greenhouse. Well, that's that. I got the builds done. I'm pretty sure I was the only one actively trying to build things in Jay's competition, but it's fine. There were other people that were doing like the server build competition who made some really cool builds, but it was used with a mod to show them where to build and the exact materials that they'll need. So there you go. I I made mine, though, just looking at pictures and my own creativity, and they did theirs. I did get some diamond stuff from Jay, though, so it was all worth it, and time to scheme something for next time. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful year.